Hi, this is Mihna, a Romanian living abroad. Actually, this movie starts in Arad, my hometown, where I returned after quite a few years to visit my family, friends, and sort out some documents. So I stayed in Arad for 1 month, and after that the plan was to return to Asia, to Taipei, where I would travel for a month, and after that go back to Bangkok, where I work and live. So let's see how I got from Arad to Taiwan in more than 30 hours. Obviously, the easiest way to get to Taipei from Arad, which is in Romania, by the way, in Eastern Europe, is to go by plane. I mean, you can go by boat, but it's going to take you forever. So I decided to go from Budapest to Taipei rather than go from Bucharest or any other European capital, because it was closest to my hometown. So the night before I started packing for Taipei, I said goodbye to my two remaining best friends back home, said goodbye to my family. The next morning I got up and got ready to leave. So I left Arad by minivan. My parents accompanied me to the petrol station right in front of our block of flats where the van was waiting for me. So it was 10:30 a.m. and soon after we started our journey towards the border crossing. On the way to the border we passed by the new mall, a fancy mall, at least is new for me, and we drove through Laiku neighborhood. Once we got out of Arad, we were on our way to Nădlac, a small town on the border with Hungary. We reached Nădlac border crossing in about 30 minutes. It's only about 50 kilometers away from the center of my hometown. Once we reached the border, I thought we were going to have to get out of the van and present our documents to the officers, but actually there was no one on the Romanian side. And as we reached the Hungarian border, the officer over there asked the driver to collect all the passports, and they briefly looked at the first page of the passport, looked in the trunk, and they actually wished us in Romanian have a safe trip, drum bun. And there we go, we entered Hungary. I remember that the last time I took the same route, more than 13 years ago, I was impressed by the state of the roads in Hungary, but this time it was the opposite. The roads up to the Romanian border were quite okay, but as soon as we entered Hungary, the roads seemed pretty crappy to me. Actually, there were plenty of holes, and the van was actually negotiating its way on the road. We soon reached Nogilok, a small village on the border, not too far from Szeged. What can I say? I was pretty disappointed with the roads. Compared to roads in Thailand, they are of the poorest quality. What was quite striking to me was the fact that the village was empty. Just like my hometown, very, very few people on the road, and it was just deserted. Anyway, we did not go towards Szeged. We actually got on the highway, and which bypasses Szeged, and we were on the way to the airport. Once we got on the highway, the roads were, what can I say, amazing. But in that small village on the border with Romania, which impressed me 16 years ago, I was totally disappointed. So there were less than 200 kilometers to the airport. The highway was a bit busier than the rest of my journey up until then, but it was mostly trucks loaded with stuff, probably going to the airport or bypassing towns on their way to the capital city, Budapest. On the highway we stopped twice, very nice resting areas to stretch our legs and of course go to the loo. We arrived at Budapest Ferenc Liszt International Airport at around 1 p.m. local time, which is, by the way, an hour behind Romania time and 6 hours behind Taiwan time. So my plane was about to leave at about 3:30 in the afternoon. I had 2 more hours to reach the gate. I got to my terminal, checked in, and went to the area in front of my gate to just relax and wait for my plane. Before check-in, the Hungarian lady at the counter was very particular with what I had in my suitcase. I had my archery bag, my bow bag, and a backpack, and she wanted to know what's in the hard case. And I told her it's sporting equipment, and she asked if it's a gun, if it's a weapon, and then she made me read a notice saying that I have packed my bags and I know everything that's in the bag. Of course, that was the case, so no problems getting through check-in. The airport seemed quite busy, quite a few travelers. This is mainly due to the fact that Budapest is a gateway to both Europe and Asia and Middle East. So I flew Emirates. There was no flight directly to Taipei, so I had a layover in Dubai. I boarded the plane, I got an aisle seat. On board of the plane, I did some reading at first. Before I got on the plane, I stocked up on newspapers, which eventually I did not manage to read. I just flicked through them because the light was quite poor in the plane and my eyes got really tired. So I ended up just watching movies on the LCD screen in front of my seat. The plane arrived on time in Dubai. What shocked me in Dubai was the fact that Dubai International Airport is so huge. I mean, I've been to other big airports around the world, such as Bangkok, Narita in Japan, Singapore, and they all seem big, but Dubai International Airport, it's actually huge, and I think it tops the top 3 of the biggest airports in the world. It took us about 10 to 15 minutes from the runway to the terminal by bus. So a bus came and picked us up from where the plane parked. 10-15 minutes later, we were at the terminal gate, where after clearing the security checkpoint, it was another 15 to 20 minutes to get to my departure gate. It was already midnight. I set my alarm clock for 3 a.m. as my flight was leaving soon after 4. The gates opened at 3:20. So I gave myself a few minutes to wake up. So I sat on a quite uncomfortable chair and napped for a while. By 3 o'clock I felt quite rested under the circumstances and was ready to board the plane for another 8.5 hours to Taipei. Again, lucky me, I got an aisle seat and settled in for a nap until breakfast came. I spent the rest of the flight watching movies, reading and napping, basically counting the minutes to my touchdown in Taipei City. The Boeing 777 was not uncomfortable at all. The flight from Budapest to Dubai was so-so, but the flight to Taipei was pretty good, and Emirates have good service, so everything went well. We landed at Taipei Taoyuan International Airport on time. I passed through immigration, changed some money to Taiwanese dollars, and waited for my luggage to arrive on the luggage belt. Everything seemed quite familiar since the last time I was in Taipei at the exact airport was just 1 year ago, so everything went pretty smoothly. Once I had my backpack and my bow case, I headed off for the exit. Since I knew all the exits there, I went straight to the information counter and arranged for a driver to come and pick me up. 10-15 minutes later, the driver arrived and he took me to my hotel. For some reason, although I booked the same hotel in Taoyuan City and we took the same route to the hotel, the ride to the hotel was shorter than what I remembered. So at about 7 p.m, after more than 30 hours on the road and in the air, I checked in my hotel. So I'm staying in a small hotel called Nestle Hotel, which is located right in front of Taoyuan main train station, from where I can easily make my move to Taipei. I brought up my bags and immediately went out For dinner, funny thing, I went to the exact restaurant and ordered the exact same thing that I ordered on my first night for my first dinner in Taoyuan City, and that was beef noodles with some cream soup and the complimentary Taiwanese tea, which was very sweet and I didn't really like it. So I paid for dinner, which was 120 Taiwanese dollars. Then I slowly walked back to the hotel, and I remembered that not far from that restaurant there was a really fancy, gaudy looking building which was under construction 1 year ago, so I wanted to see what was the progress they made. The building is still under construction, but the gates are open. I think it's someone's house, and it still looks horrible and ugly as ever. For the next 2 days, I'll stay in Taiyuan City and then move on for 1 month of traveling in Taipei. Let's do this. Good night. Swadika. This is me, Arune, traveling abroad.